It is.
Too much.
Okay. All right. It's officially 5:32, so we're going to go ahead and get started with calling this meeting to order. 2.2 Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll have Miss Akinyemi lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right, thank you so much for that. 2.3 Approval of the agenda. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Medina, second by Dr. Wyatt. Is there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, vote please. Ms. Akinyemi? Aye. And Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. 2.4 SBC USD land acknowledgement, and I'm going to go ahead and ask Mr. Santos if he would kindly read that for us, please?
The board members recognize the San Bernardino City Unified School District sits on unceded California Indian homeland of the Gabrielino. No, how do you? I'm sorry, Gabrielio. I hope I said that correctly and did it justice. Tongava Shemet. Wow, Shemewevi and Nuwu Kawia, thank you, and Serrano Mariam. We recognize that every member of the SBCUSD community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since time immemorial. Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we are responsible for acknowledging and making the district's relationship with the American California tribes visible. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm American Californian Indian sovereignty and will work to hold SBCUSD more accountable to the needs of American California Indians. The land acknowledgement has the oversight and approval of tribal elders from the local respective tribes. Thank you.
May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Medina, second by Mr. Tillman. Vote, please. Ms. Akin Yemi?
Aye.
Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Yes, I forgot. I apologize for that. We actually don't vote on that one. So we're going to move to 3.0, special presentations and recognitions. And 3.1 is enrollment and placement services and student records recognition. So I will go ahead and pass it over to Mrs. Goodwin.
Thank you, President Ceballos. Good evening. My name is Mary Roan Goodwin, and I'm the Director of Communications and Community Relations. Before I introduce our presentations, I'd like to invite our board members and Superintendent Arellano to make their way to the front of the dais at this time. Executive Cabinet, would you join us and make your way along the ramp here to greet our special guests? Tonight, we are proud to honor two teams from the Student Services Division whose dedication plays a vital role in serving our families and students, the employees of the Enrollment and Placement Services Department and the Student Records Department. These staff members work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that every student is placed in the right school, every record is as accurate as possible and accessible, and that every family feels supported through the process. Their attention to detail and commitment to service make a real difference for the students of San Bernardino City Unified. At this time, I'd like to ask our honorees to come forward as I call your name. Once you've received your certificate and received your greeting from the board and superintendent, please remain standing near me for a group photo once all honorees have gathered. Audience, kindly please hold your applause until all names are called. And now we will welcome Leonard Buckner, Director of Enrollment and Placement Services, Student Records, to come forward at this time. Again, as you make your way, you'll join me here, and then we'll bring everybody together for a group photo. So for Enrollment and Placement Services, please come forward as I call your name, starting with Bilingual Secretary 3, Sylvia Bernal. Over here, and then we have Nancy Castañeda, who is the Bilingual Enrollment Center Technician for Enrollment and Placement Services. Alma Lopez Flores, Bilingual Clerk 1, Enrollment and Placement Services. Valerio Mejia, Student Recovery Specialist, Enrollment and Placement Services. Beatrice Yepes, Bilingual Clerk 2, Enrollment and Placement Services. For the Student Records Department, please come forward as I call your name. Alma Estrada, Office Technician Registrar. Maria Flores, Bilingual Senior Clerk. Stacy Hardy, Senior Registrar. Teresa Herrera, Bilingual Clerk 1. Board members, if we can shift, we're going to be bringing the whole group for a photo. Well, that too, yes. All right, let's give them a big round of applause. This concludes this portion of the recognitions.
All right. Once again, congratulations to Enrollment and Placement Services and Student Records. 3.0 Resolution in recognition of Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Mr. Hurtado if he can go ahead and read that for us, please.
I'm so sorry. What number was it?
It's going to be 3.2.
Whereas on September 11, 2001, terrorists hijacked and crashed passenger planes into the World Trade Center's Twin Towers in New York City. The Pentagon, which is the U.S. Department's defensive headquarters in Arlington County, Virginia, and into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, 130 miles northwest of Washington, D.C., falling short of its intended target because of the heroic efforts of the passengers on board. Whereas these attacks were by far the deadliest terrorist attack ever launched against the U.S., killing and injuring thousands of innocent people. And whereas the greatness of America shone brightly in the bravery of victims, in the heroism of first responders who laid down their lives to save others, in the compassion of people who stepped forward to help those that they had never met, and in the generosity of millions of Americans who enriched our country with acts of service and kindness. And whereas, by a joint resolution approved December 18, 2001, the U.S. Congress designated September 11th of each year as a Patriot Day. And whereas, in proclaiming September 11th Patriot Day in 2003, President George W. Bush called upon government and all Americans to display the flag at half-staff on that day and to observe a moment of silence in honor of the innocent victims who lost their lives. And whereas in 2009, President Barack Obama amended the Patriot Day presidential proclamation, officially designating September 11th as a national day of service and remembrance. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of San Bernardino City Unified School District hereby recognizes September 11, 2023 as Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance, and encourages district staff, students, and neighborhoods through good deeds that rekindle the extraordinary spirit of togetherness and compassion that arose in the immediate aftermath of the tragedy of September 11, 2001.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Moved by Mrs. Alexander and second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Ms. Akinyemi?
Aye.
Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.3, resolution in recognition of 16 de septiembre. And I was going to ask Ms. Akinyemi if she can read it for us, or if you want me to come back to a different one, I could. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Ms. Mary Ellen Grande if she can read that for us. 3.3.
Thank you. Whereas the 16 de septiembre, more commonly known as Mexico's Independence Day, commemorates the insurrection that led to Mexico's separation from Spain. And whereas it is an important date in the history of Mexico that marks the anniversary of the issuance of the Grito de Dolores, in which Father Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla defied Spain and called for freedom and justice for the common man. And whereas this date is of historical significance for the Mexican people and others of Latin American ancestry, and is celebrated by many members of the San Bernardino City Unified School District community, including our students. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the San Bernardino City Unified School District recognizes September 16th, 2025 as 16 de septiembre and directs appropriate activities for its observance in district schools.
So moved.
Second.
But moved by Mr. Tillman, second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Ms. Akinyemi? Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. 3.4, resolution in recognition of California Native American Day. I'm going to go ahead and ask Dr. Wyatt if he can read that for us.
Thank you, Madam President. Whereas California is currently home to the largest population of native tribes and tribal people in the United States, including the Ayuha Veatam, or people of the Pines, who were previously known as the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. And whereas California Native American Day began in 1939, when Governor Colbert Olson dedicated October 1st as Indian Day and Native American Day, became an official holiday in public schools and community colleges September 1998 under California Education Code, when Assembly Bill 1953 was signed into law. And whereas educational leaders throughout the region are encouraged to involve themselves in their schools in a statewide focus on improving the education provided to our children about the heritage, traditions, and resilience of California Native Americans and honor their contributions to the American tapestry. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of San Bernardino Unified School District declares September 26, 2025 be California Native American Day, encourages all educators to commemorate this day with appropriate instructional activities, and therefore be it resolved, the Board of Education will continue to support the academic success of the district's Native scholars and educate the community about Native American culture, its Indian education program.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Medina, second by Dr. Wyatt. Vote, please. Ms. Akinyemi?
Aye.
Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Santos?
Motion carries. 3.5, resolution in support of California High School Voter Education Weeks. And I will go ahead and ask Ms. Akinyemi to read that for us, please.
Whereas the right to vote is a fundamental underpinning of the democratic and our constitutional republic, one that must be personally cherished, practiced, and championed as a civic duty. And whereas by reaching out early and often to students, we can help them develop a strong and lasting appreciation for the values of voting. And whereas California's educational code designates the last 2 full weeks in both December and April to be high school voters education week. And whereas California has a online tool that allows eligible 16 and 17-year-olds voters to pre-register to vote and automatically become active voters once they turn 18. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the San Bernardino City Unified School District declares that the weeks of September 15 to 26, 2025, and April 13 to 24, 2026, as High School Voters Education Week, and encourage the district schools to participate in activities that help register and pre-register eligible students to vote, while encouraging others to become informed citizens committed to active voters once they reach voting age.
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Mrs. Alexander, second by Dr. Wyatt. Vote, please. Ms. Akinyemi?
Aye.
Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. 4.0 public comments. 4.1 receive public comments. This is the only time the public will have an opportunity to address the board on items not on the agenda and within their subject matter jurisdiction, such as district policies, procedures, programs, services, or fiscal matters. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes per person. 6 or more people who wish to speak on one topic will be provided no more than 30 minutes total. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because these comments are made at a public meeting. And first up, we have SBTA President Barbara Pastachek-Cox. Welcome.
Good evening, President Ceballos, Vice President Aviles Grande, Mr. Arellano, and esteemed members of the Cabinet and Board. My name is Barbara Pastachek-Cox, and I am honored to serve as the President for the San Bernardino Teachers Association. And tonight, I speak on behalf of over 3,000 dedicated members, professionals who show up every day with passion, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to our students. Erin Moran, our SBTA Vice President, and I have been visiting school sites across the district, and I want to share how meaningful and energizing these visits have been. It has been a truly rewarding experience to meet with educators and administrators in the same room, united in purpose and vision. I want to express a heartfelt appreciation to the site administrators who welcomed us so warmly, often preparing slides to announce our visit and making space for genuine conversation. These moments exhibit the strong and collaborative relationship that SBTA and the district continue to build together. It's a relationship grounded in mutual respect and the shared goal of strengthening our profession, starting in the classroom. That's where our work begins, because our educators' working conditions are our students' learning conditions. And if we are to reach the highest levels of student success, we must start by supporting and investing in those who are on the front lines every day, our educators. This month also marks National Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to celebrate the rich histories, vibrant cultures, and invaluable contributions of Hispanic students, families, colleagues, and communities. It is also a time to recognize the ongoing challenges faced and to recommit ourselves to the work of equity and opportunity. In the words of Dr. Ellen Ochoa, the first Latina astronaut and a champion for STEM education, the opportunities I had were a result of having a good educational background. Education is what allows you to stand out. Her message resonates deeply with our mission. As educators, we know that access to a strong, inclusive education is the foundation for opportunity, empowerment, and lasting change. I'm also looking forward to tonight's presentation from the Secondary Education Department. The progress and innovation coming from this team, especially in dual enrollment, career technical education, and internships, are truly remarkable. These programs offer our students early access to college credit and real-world experience, building their confidence and broadening their horizons. And lastly, I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome home to Dr. Doisen. Many of us have had the pleasure of working with her in the past, and we are thrilled to have her back in the SBCUSD family. Welcome home, Dr. Doisen. We look forward to all that we will accomplish together. And thank you for your time and for your continued commitment to collaboration and excellence in education. Good night.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Karan Slobom.
Hi, good evening. My name is Karen Slobom, and I'm a resident in the DeVore community. And the issue that we're bringing before you has to do with Kimbark School and the DeVore community water source. We've given you a few packages for you to look over later. I'm going to try and hit some of the highlights right now. So first off, I want to read from one of the residents about the septic system at the Kimbark School Elementary. Are outdated and overused. They are breaking down and contaminating our main water source. It needs to be cleaned up. Our entire community is at risk in drinking unclean water right now. This can't be fixed by any mitigation plan we might devise. We shouldn't bear this burden and cannot afford it or sustain it. But there are solutions. When the school was built, septic tanks had to be used, but now we have advanced treatment systems, ATS, that will replace septic tanks. The ATS systems are digesters that release gray water at just below surface level so that the water is fully further cleaned by natural percolation. Those old tanks need to be replaced with ATS tanks. Assembly Bill 885 was passed in 2000 and addresses the issue of septic tanks contamination in California. This litigation provides access to grants and low-interest loans for the construction and installation of ATS systems and the replacement of septic tanks that are currently contaminating our water table, especially in situations where our entire community is at risk. We can't possibly clean up our water system until the root of the problem is addressed, and that is the fact that the septic tanks at Kimbark Elementary School are bleeding raw sewage into our drinking water, and they need to be replaced with new effective systems for processing the sewage from the elementary school. The other issue I want to talk about is the health issues that high nitrates and even low nitrates can happen in our community. And on the back side of one of the pages I gave you, there's a little graph, and it kind of shows you that even at low risk, children are at risk. So they have miscarriages, you've got the blue baby syndrome, colon cancer, thyroid cancer, hypothyroidism. My family, we've lived in Devore our entire life. I currently have the hypothyroidism as my mom and my siblings who grew up drinking the water. Now the levels are higher, and the children are one of those that will suffer since they are still growing and contaminate like nitrates, which could cause unknown illness and damages to their body. We need to think about how the contaminants are harmful to all creatures like our animals as well as our children and elders. What about the nitrates contaminating the meat of the animals we raise for food and eggs we eat? Access to safe drinking water is basic human rights. We respectfully ask you, school board, what are you doing or what will you do to solve the solution for our Devore water source that is being contaminated by Kimbark School? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Up next, we have Cindy Maruzzi. Awesome, thank you.
Do I push something?
Right on the mic?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it was actually on. I think it was on. You might have turned it off when you pressed it.
Green?
There we go.
Is it there? Okay. For me, Cindy Maruzzi, I'm also a Devore resident of 35 years, and not sure if anybody here is aware that we have high nitrates in our water, which most people think it's coming from the septic system at the Kimbark School. So my question to you is, are you aware of the nitrates? Did the school district or the school get a letter, because we did, stating that there's a tier 1 nitrate level, and it's marked on there in that pamphlet for the school district and for the school. Our wells 2A and 3 sit right next to the school, which is, so if you're looking at the school, kindergarten's here, our wells are here. Our wells have had a spike, which we gave you this year's readings. Our last reading was on August 28th, and that was a 12. They should be under 10. So that's my first thing, whether or not any notices went out to parents.
No, I'm sorry. So unfortunately, we can't answer any questions here.
Well, no, I'm just asking
Okay.
it as a question.
Sorry.
I knew that. So that was one. So tier 1s, and then another thing is, since we test, the Devore Water Company tests weekly, should be more than weekly. I feel that Kimbark School should be doing their own testing, because it might test today at a 9.5, we turn the wells back on, but if they're not tested daily, we don't know when it spikes. So we test again in a week, and now it's 12. So when did that spike? When are the kids getting the water? We're getting the water. So that's another question, statement to you. Let's see. Like I said, and I left a pack, so there's a lot of information in those packages. Also, too, if there are high nitrates, which we have the test results, is anybody providing the school, the staff, the kids with bottled water? Because we don't drink the water. So, and if we don't notify you guys and let you know, who's going to protect the Kimbark students? Because in our last meeting, board meeting at DeVore Water Company, we asked whose responsibility it was to notify the school, and they said it's up to the shareholders. We're shareholders. We get that notice in our water bill. I know that the water bill comes to this address. So that tier 1 letter should have been in your guys' bill. And then who's notifying the school? That's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Up next, we have Mike Thompson.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm kind of new to this process too, so pardon me if I step out of line as far as the protocol. I'm going to expand on some of the stuff. What I have is some data. I'm a water professional that been in the field for 30 years, and my AKA is Jonathan Lovethorn. If you guys read my email, there is data there that needs to be looked at. I'm going to give you some brief data because I expanded on it since I got more data, some of the lab results. Prior to 1993, 1993 is around when the school was expanded there at Kimbark. I lived in the neighborhood at the time. The results were around 4.5. Nitrates do occur naturally, and there's other things that influence that. And that one is the septic system. Well, from 1993 to 2011, the number went up, not a big difference, but around 6.2, from 4.5-ish to 6.2. From 93 to present, it's floating around, let's say, about 7.3. 2011 to present, and the reason why I broke down 2011 is I have a theory that there was low flow devices installed at Kimbark Elementary, which from a water professional, you want that. But when you cut the water going into that septic tank, you are not cutting the concentration of the urine. So I could follow patterns of whenever the school is on summer breaks. I could follow during COVID when the numbers dropped. The numbers dropped during COVID, and they would have continued to drop if the school never reopened. And so they dropped during COVID from 93 to COVID, so that's leading up to COVID. They're around 7. And then COVID, it dropped down about 5.5. And there was no samples above 10 during COVID, during an 18-month period. Explain that to me. The people that say that it's the community septic system causing problems, they're just supporting the school. They're trying to hide the fact that the school is the one that is causing the problem. The data is there. It needs to be looked at. There is a direct conflict of interest between DeVore Water, the board members, and an employee that works for the school district. How do I know that? I was a board member. I was pushed away from DeVore Water Company because of that conflict of interest. I'm here standing, and I'm fighting for my community. My mom has issues with thyroid, by the way. Think about those kids drinking that water.
Thank you. Up next, we have Misty Lopez.
Am I on? Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Misty Lopez. I'm here representing a company called The Learning Web. We create educational content catered towards African American kids. These are some of the examples we have. So our company, our whole goal is to build confidence in our Black children. We want them to have things to look forward to. We have 3 Black History books. We have 2 anti-bullying books. We have a math and money book. So the whole goal of putting these Black faces on a book is to give them characters to look up to. We have books ranging from pre-K to 9th grade, touching on a little bit of everything. We travel all over the country. We do community events, but we would like to expand more and do more for the community. So my whole goal is to partner with the Board of Education to see what we need to do to partner with you guys to either get this into after school programs or helping with different children, whatever we can do. So it would be great to partner with someone to see how we can push this across the board. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your comments. And I believe that is all the public comments that we have for tonight. 5.2 closed session agenda, and we will adjourn to closed session at this time. Oh, I apologize. Is there any public comments for closed session?
No, there is not.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I know we have a presentation that we're looking forward to, so we're gonna go to 6.0 action reported from closed session, 6.1 expulsion of students. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accepts and adopts the recommendation findings of the hearing panel based on a review of the panel's findings of facts and recommendations, and orders the expulsion of the following student with the identification number as listed below in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900.
So move.
Second. Moved by Dr. Wyatt, second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Motion carries. 6.2, lift, readmit of expulsion of students. Be it resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the readmission of the following students with the identification numbers as indicated below to the schools of the San Bernardino City Unified School District in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900.
So move.
Second. Moved by Dr. Wyatt, second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Motion carries. 6.3, petition to expunge, rescind sealing of record, or modify youth court or expulsion. Be it resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the expulsion and or youth court modification, expungement, or rescinding of the following student with the identification numbers as indicated below to schools of the San Bernardino City Unified School District in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900. So moved. Second. Moved by Ms. Medina, second by Ms. Alexander. Vote, please. Motion carries. 6.4, other closed session action. And be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the notice of recommendation for disciplinary action and statement of charges to dismiss the following certificated employee from his or her employment with the district HR Cert 252613ER.
So move.
Second. Moved by Dr. Wyatt, second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Motion carries. 7.0. The 7.0 would be student board members. 7.1, reports and comments. We can I don't want to go to the next one if it's going to be too long. Yeah. So if you, so we'll just hold on for a couple minutes. I think they, go to their session for closed session, and we're working on getting them back. So. Where's your puppets when we need them? I apologize. Thank you for your patience. No pressure. Welcome back. Let me just give you a minute to get settled. We're going to start our 7.0 student board members' comments and reports. So whenever you're ready, Miss Akinyemi, you can go ahead and start.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great evening. My name is Pafet Akinyemi. I am a junior from San Bernardino High School. I would like to thank my engineering pathway teacher, Mr. Nunez, for giving me the opportunity to come in for a presentation from UC Berkeley. A few things that are happening in San Bernardino High School is the Miss and Mr. Cardinal City pageant, the 22nd pageant, on the September 20th. The doors open at 5 p.m., but the pageant begins at 6 p.m. The homecoming game is on the 26th, while the homecoming dance is on the 27th. Every Friday is a lunch activity, kicking off the National Hispanic Heritage Month. At Indian Springs High School, they are having their club rush all last week, and on the 22nd, they had their very first football game of the season. At Pacific High School, dual enrollment students get free college classes, and it allows students to graduate early with an associate's degree. Pacific has introduced a double block of math, which is a support class and a pre-cal class. The purpose of the support class is to improve the test scores for math, such as the SAT or other tests coming up, like the NWA math, the STAR math. At San G High School, they are having club rush and they are at their school and a club and a blood drive. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Mr. Hurtado.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aiden Hurtado, and I'm a junior that goes to Cajon High School, but I have the honor of representing both San Andreas and Sierra High School. Before I begin, I'd like to give a special thanks to the wonderful teams at San Andreas and Sierra High School. This past week, I had the opportunity to tour these schools, and I was met with nothing but hospitality. The sun really is lit at Sierra High School and is truly exemplifying the shine in the SBC USD community. Sierra has won 8 out of the 9 awards for being one of America's healthiest schools. Their Wellness Center brings together all aspects of health services, breaking down the stigma behind seeking help. Their implementation of the Hazel Health System lets students meet doctors in real time to get the help that they need. Their self-regulation rooms allow students to remove themselves from mentally draining situations and calm themselves down, all while having the option to talk to a trusted adult if needed. Their restorative intervention for student empowerment, or RISE system, allows counselors, parents, admin, and students to work together to create an environment where students are uplifted and supported. They recently became one of 8 schools in the state that won a grant for their peer-to-peer program, a program that seeks to actively bring the students together and break down the stigma of seeking mental health resources. The Career Center is also being recognized by the ACTE's Techniques paper for their amazing efforts towards preparing students for their transition into the workforce. With 14 state-approved CTE courses and a multitude of services dedicated to uplifting these students, the career program has pushed over 100 students not only to finish their courses, but to also receive college credits. Their program allows students to receive certifications that are valuable in the workforce, as well as receive a letter of recommendation from their very own principal, Mr. Murrieta, to help them break into the workforce. Their services don't stop after graduation. Students are eligible for full career services until the age of 22, as long as they stay within the school system. These services have left a lasting impact on the students at Sierra High School, leading to over 20 alumni coming back for internships at the school. Over at San Andreas, the sun is shining bright on its students. San Andreas serves as a place to help serve and uplift students, giving them a chance to overcome the struggles from their previous schools. Their health pathway allows students to learn about the healthcare industry, gain crucial experience for the workplace, as well as gaining certifications that will help them secure jobs in the future. Their state-of-the-art EMS simulator allows students to train under stressful situations, all while being in a controlled environment. The business pathway teaches students essential skills that will only benefit them in their future. Their makerspace allows students to learn 3D modeling, how to operate an embroidery machine, laser cutter, and 3D printer. Their state-of-the-art greenhouse teaches kids about hydroponics, while also allowing students to give back to the community. I got the opportunity to see the students' latest batch of lettuce that they grow in-house and give back to local distributors. Their mental health resources are top-notch. Their wellness center allows students to talk to licensed therapists in a safe and comforting environment. Students have all the resources they need to tackle their issues all under the same roof. These resources are one of many reasons San Andreas has been recently awarded PBIS Platinum. San Andreas is truly a shining beacon that is repairing the relationship between students and education. Cajon High School is also shining bright with a psychology pathway that is going for its gold certification and a construction pathway that just got silver. Their counseling team just launched the School Counseling Advisory Council, which seeks to build a better connection with the community and the counseling department. They plan to allow the community to voice their input about how counseling should be conducted at Cajon, with the main goal of increasing A through G completion rates. Cajon also has a thriving club atmosphere, with some of our biggest clubs garnering over 100 applicants this year. Cajon Film Society in particular has 2 alumni coming back as instructors, Andy Garcia and our very own Emmy Award-winning Sofia Figueroa. Along with that, one of our very own student films, Johnny It's Okay, is going to be presented at the Inland Film Festival later this month. Over at Arroyo, the JROTC had the honor of presenting The Colors at the grand opening of the Mount Vernon Bridge. And at Middle College, student leaders were taken on a bonding trip to the Pali Institute. I'm excited to report that we have our very first Slack meeting later this month on the 15th, where we'll have the opportunity to connect with and work on uplifting the leaders of the future. Thank you all for this time this evening. It's truly an honor to be able to sit here and share all the exciting things that's happening in our district.
Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful reports. Yes. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much for, bringing us in updates of these schools and, it's extra duties that you guys all, take on. So thank you so much. Very well done. All right. Moving on to 8.0 administrative reports and presentations. 8.1 AP dual enrollment IB gate presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Mrs. Applegate to introduce to us our team.
Thank you, Board President Ceballos, Vice President Aviles Grande, rest of our board, Mr. Arellano, Cabinet, and our viewing audience. I'm very excited and very proud to bring you the team once again to present our advanced placement programs across our district. I think you'll be pleased to see the hard work that's gone into providing such wonderful opportunities for our students right here in San Bernardino. And I think you'll be pleased to see the data that's showing the expansion of these programs and how student participation has really increased. So the data speaks loudly. I want you to take a look at this team right here. These people here are relentless. I'm so proud of them. Secondary, college and career, GATE, our categoricals represented. All of these people are relentless in working to provide these opportunities for our students. And in just a few years, 2 or 3 years, we've gone to, now districts are calling us and looking to us to see what it is that we're doing. So thank you so much, team, for being here. Can we give them a round of applause and get them started here? Fantastic. So proud of each and every one of you. I know how hard you all work. So with that, I'll turn it over to my fabulous directors, Dr. Sudha Venkatesan and Dr. Amy Coker.
Thank you, Mrs. Applegate. Good evening, Board President, Mr. Ceballos, Superintendent Arellano, board members, Cabinet, and our SBC USD community. My name is Sudha Venkatesan, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Secondary Education and College and Career. And before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank my administrators, program specialists, and staff in my department for their dedication and hard work. I also want to acknowledge our secondary school administrators and teachers who every single day work tirelessly with our students to help them achieve outstanding outcomes. Finally, I want to express and extend my sincere gratitude to the board, superintendent, and cabinet members, especially my supervisor, Mrs. Applegate, for her steadfast guidance and unconditional support of our work. And Dr. Doizan, welcome home. Tonight, we will provide an update on the advanced academic programs, International Baccalaureate, Advanced Placement, Dual Enrollment, and GATE. We will review the program data, look at enrollment and growth trends, and then discuss the next steps to ensure these opportunities continue to expand and support college and career readiness for all our students. International Baccalaureate. Here in San Bernardino, we are proud to offer IB across the full continuum. At Bob Holcomb Elementary, students begin their IB journey in the primary years program. At Cesar Chavez Middle School, they continue through middle years program. And at Arroyo Valley and Cajon High Schools, students have the opportunity to complete the middle years program in grades 9 and 10, and then move into IB diploma program in grades 11 and 12. This pathway provides our students with an internationally respected academic experience that opens doors for college and career opportunities worldwide. This slide shows that both schools have clearly expanded their IB offerings when compared to previous year. Arroyo from 18 to 22 and Cajon from 18 to 25 different courses. Cajon's MYP growth stands out this year, while Arroyo Valley continues to grow in course availability and enrollment. This slide shows enrollment by student and program groups for the 25-26 school year. Arroyo Valley and Cajon, the enrollment increased in both programs. African American participation and English learners had a modest increase from 5.4 to 11.8 and 0.4 to 4.4%. There is still room for improvement. Students who are seniors have the opportunity to earn college credit by scoring 4 or higher on higher level IB exams, which are taken only in the senior year. In both schools, students taking the exam and passing with a 4 or better increased by 11% for Arroyo Valley and 5.8% at Cajon. As we look ahead, there are several important next steps for our International Baccalaureate programs. First, both the diploma and middle years program will undergo evaluation cycle by IB organization in 25-26, which ensures we are maintaining fidelity to the IB standards and continuing to grow program quality. Second, we are focused on expanding participation and improving retention across all levels of IB. Third, we will continue implementing the TIP policies with particular emphasis at Arroyo Valley High School to ensure alignment and consistency across programs. Finally, we want to increase the number of students who take and pass the IB exam with the specific goal of at least 2 passing scores per student to meet the CCI requirement. We wanted to highlight what truly matters most, our students. These photos remind us that behind every data point, policy, and planning session are real students who are growing, learning, and thriving through the IB experience. I conclude the first section here. Should I pause for questions or I can move on to the next one?
I was going to say, I don't see any lights. Mrs. Alexander?
Thank you so much for your presentation thus far. I'll make my question brief. For the IB program, I noticed the schools, is there a plan to expand beyond the schools that we currently have? And what dictates that expansion?
There is always a possibility to expand, but we are also offering plenty of advanced program options. So schools naturally tend to go and expand programs that students have more interest, because we have this IB, then you will, there's AP advanced placement programs, and as well as the dual enrollment. It seems like our students are really taking interest in our dual enrollment programs.
Thank you.
But we have a lot of options for them now.
Ms. Rosales Medina.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I do have a question regarding the primary year program. Do we have a list of how many students are attending that at Holcomb Elementary School? How many students are part of the primary years program?
I'll get that information back to you.
Okay, that's okay. And then I also have, I just want to send a kudos to Cajon High School when it comes to special education. Most, folks don't understand that there's twice exceptional students that are meeting both spectrums. And I think it's important because a lot of the students are not challenged in the classroom, yet they need that extra support. And they can excel in so many different ways. And so I'm glad to see that Cajon has around 14 students. Is that my understanding? 14 out of 143. So yes, thank you.
Dr. Wyatt.
Thank you, President Ceballos, and Ms. Rosales Medina just kind of echoed what I was looking at, as well as our students with disabilities, and definitely that's a great statistic to see. Another one I was taking a look at also, though, on these green arrows, I see those obviously are going up, right? So on the other data points that don't have arrows, are they staying about the same, or have any gone down by chance?
They would have stayed the same if I would have made a special mention if they had gone down.
Okay, and then I see we have a significant number of McKinney-Vento students as well that are in there. And then our students with disabilities, do we know their success rate in the IB program when they take their test? Do we have any idea how well they do? And are those maybe students that are ED high functioning? Do we happen to know disabilities as well?
I can get that information for you.
And that could be in the board
because it's a long presentation. I couldn't weave everything into the presentation.
But that could be in a Friday
I will
update.
get that information back.
I think that's it. You can continue.
Our next section is on advanced placement. So again, this is another advanced program that we offer in our school district. There's 15.6% of our high school students who are enrolled in the AP courses. We offer 22 different AP courses across our district. So the top 6 AP courses are in English language arts, and we also have in Spanish, in histories, and also in biological sciences. Students are also offered pre-AP and honors courses to build foundational skills, so they are ready for the AP style of rigor and learning. In 24-25, our district piloted AP African American Studies at Indian Springs High School. While the participation in the AP exam was modest, the results were outstanding. All the 13 students who took the exam passed, achieving 100% pass rate. So we have expanded the AP African American Studies to 2 schools now, Indian Springs as well as Pacific High School. And our enrollment has also grown significantly, with 61 students enrolled in these programs, tripling the last year's number. This course not only provides the A through G credit, but also satisfies the ethnic studies requirement. Looking ahead, we are focusing on expanding AP African American to additional schools as well. And some new and exciting opportunities. In 26-27, our district is exploring to offer 2 new courses, AP Cybersecurity and AP Business with Personal Finance. These courses represent a powerful bridge between college readiness and career readiness. Students will not only earn A through G college credit, but they will also gain exposure to career-connected learning that can lead to industry-recognized certifications, employer-endorsed credentials, and real-world workforce skills. So moving on to some data. This shows AP participation trends in our district. disaggregated by student group. Overall, we see steady growth in the AP enrollment district-wide from 14% of high school students to 15.6% currently enrolled. We also see some positive momentum among African American students, Hispanic and homeless students. At the same time, we notice areas where we want to strengthen supports. For instance, English learners and students with disabilities are participating at lower rates than other groups. This data is going to help us target where we continue to expand access and ensure that all students, regardless of background, have the opportunity to benefit from rigorous AP coursework. Over the last 3 years, the district's AP pass rate improved from 39 to 46%, and this growth coincides with higher exam participation. At the site level, Arroyo Valley High School showed the strongest momentum, climbing from 37% pass rate to a 59% pass rate. It's an increase of 22 percentage points. Indian Springs and Pacific also trended upward with modest, steady increases. Although from the graph it appears that San Bernardino High School has declined, it is important to note that they have provided access to 100 additional students in their AP program. This means increased access to more students than 2 years ago. San Gregonio has effectively stayed the same over the past 3 years with a small decrease. So we will review course alignment, instructional rigor, and readiness supports that are being offered at this school. Cajon does not run AP courses, but students can still opt to test. We will ensure that they receive clear pathways and prep resources so more students can be successful in the AP exams at Cajon High School. Next steps. Again, we are continuing to implement TIP policy as our front and center. And in order to make sure there is consistency across, especially as I mentioned at Arroyo Valley High School. Another focus is African American students not only take AP exams, but also pass them, specifically aiming for at least 2 passing scores. We are committed to supporting our teachers through targeted professional development to strengthen instruction, and we will continue our AP collaborative with Cal State San Bernardino to provide students with additional resources and support. Together, these efforts are designed to expand opportunity and improve outcome for all students. So I conclude advanced placement now, and I'll pause for questions.
Thank you. So I don't see any lights, but I do have a question that I want to ask. So on this one here, I see, well, first of all, thank you so much for bringing this information forward. I see some good increases and some good gains for some student populations, but then I see some declines or very small minimal growth for other student populations. So what is it that we're doing different for the 1 or 2 group? I believe there's 2 group here that have made at least a 2% increase. What are we doing different for those 2 specific groups that maybe we can leverage and use and then replicate to the other groups that we're seeing those declines in?
And as I mentioned, I do have some teacher coordinators also here that are present at overseas. When we see some declines in the student group, the question from our district office is always, what are the differentiated instructional strategies that you're using in order to address the needs of those specific student groups? So this is the first line. Once we have the data, then it's going to be our conversations that we will be having with the school sites. And what are the gains that has worked for others? And also during our ALI, when principals are talking about the overall increase in A through G and in the advanced courses, those are all the common discussions and share out the principals will have.
Thank you for that. Because again, this is really great, but we want to make sure that all of our students are gaining, achieving success. And so again, whatever we're doing for any one group, let's take a look at it. Let's learn from that, and then let's replicate that across. Thank you.
We come to early college credits. Before I begin this section, I do want to take a moment to thank the board and our superintendent for the incredible support you have given us in expanding dual enrollment opportunities across our district. Thanks to your leadership, we are seeing strong participation and impressive success rates among our students. This slide highlights the 4 main ways our students can earn early college credit while still in high school. CCAP courses, college classes taught by college professors offered during the school day, right on our high school campuses. These are free to students, fully covered by the district, and students earn both high school and college credit simultaneously. Non-CCAP courses, classes offered not during the school day, but before and after school, either on campus or online, again taught by college professors. They are also free, like CCAP. They allow students to earn both high school and college credit. The next one is articulated credit. Certain high school courses taught by our own teachers are aligned with college courses. When students successfully complete them and meet requirements, they earn credit from both institutions at no cost. Concurrent enrollment, students independently enroll in college courses, either online or on campus. In this case, the families are completely responsible for the tuition and fees. The students earn college credit with the option to request high school credit when applicable. I'm very proud to share that with the strong support of you board, we have made great strides in expanding access, saving families thousands of dollars in tuition and giving students a powerful head start on college. With that, I was supposed to have the video, but because we have a large presentation, we kind of cut short that. Early college credits, fast facts. So over the past 2 years, we have seen strong growth in the early college credit opportunities. All these together are called early college credit opportunities. Course completions, you can see, has increased from 3,199 in 23-24 to 4,481 in 24-25, with more students participating overall. CCAP enrollment nearly doubled in just 1 year. Because we are offering it within the school day, more students are able to participate and successfully complete it. And non-CCAP has grown as well. This is the extra slide that has been added to this presentation. We were able to get the data for 2025 graduating cohort on dual enrollment, and the results are absolutely incredible. And I wanted to share this data with you. 1 in 3 students in this graduating class has taken a college credit class and passed it with a C or better. Almost all schools have increased their dual enrollment offering. I know you'll be very excited about that. I wanted to share this data with you. This slide shows early college credit is growing across every grade level. The biggest gains are in the 11th grade and 12th grade. More students are starting earlier and staying engaged through graduation. This slide provides a 3-year comparison of participation across different student groups in our district. We see a steady and positive growth, with nearly every group showing increases in the percentage of students earning college credit. The key takeaway here is that early college credit is no longer limited to a narrow set of students. It is expanding across all student groups, reaching more of the students we serve every day and helping build a stronger and more equitable college-going culture across the district. This slide compares the percentage of high school students across SBC USD schools who have earned college credit through dual enrollment or college level courses over the past 3 years. The growth percentage shown at the top of the graph represent 1-year change from last year to this year. District-wide, we have seen strong progress. There is an 8% increase in just 2 years. Perhaps more importantly, the majority of our schools have shown steady growth year after year. This speaks to the overall commitment across the district to expand opportunities, support student success, and ensure that more of our graduates are leaving high school with college credit already earned. We now have formal MOUs with CSUs, UCs, community colleges, and new this year, private universities. These partnerships give students the chance to earn college credit in high school, saving families time and money while building confidence for higher education. The addition of private universities expands options and show the whole higher ed community is invested in our students' success. The results speak for themselves. More graduates already have college credits, more families see higher ed as affordable, and more students are leaving high school ready for college and career. Using the next steps listed in the slide, we are about scaling access, deepening support, and ensuring equity so that every student in our district can benefit from these powerful opportunities. On another note, we are excited to share that our instant admit MOUs have now expanded beyond CSUSB to include all CSUs and Cal Baptist University. And with Valley College, we are taking instant admit directly to our high school campuses. We are currently working with them on dates and logistics to make it happen. So this concludes my section on dual enrollment.
Awesome, thank you. Ms. Abeles Grande?
Well, that was a lot, very concentrated and very smooth. So I'm going to ask a few questions that you may have already mentioned, so you just come back. This is exciting and just makes me so proud and of our team and you and all of your educators. My question is, do other school districts or surrounding areas that you know of, do they offer, I'm telling you, you're scolding me here, I'm too loud. Do they offer dual enrollment at the same level as we do? And then secondly, do we inform our parents from elementary and middle school about these exciting things that are going to happen for them in high school? I want to make sure that they learn as soon as possible. So if they have a choice to come to our high schools, that they will make that choice. You know, I want to make sure we promote that so we don't lose Pacuma kids. That's where I live. We don't lose those Pacuma kids. They need to know. Those parents need to know. So those are my kind of two questions in there.
The first question, I would venture to say, I think we are a pioneer in the state. We are offering, I think the 1/3 of our students completing college credit, I think is very, very exciting. It's I think an
I see a lot of
incredible-
state recognitions on that area right there.
Definitely, we have been focusing on high schools and expanding. We would definitely take up your idea and make sure that we start spreading this information to elementary and middle schools as well.
Poster board.
Sorry, I apologize. I wasn't scolding her. I was just trying to get whose light went up first. Mr. Tillman?
Thank you. So on the slide that shows the bar graph, college credit courses.
The different schools.
What page number on here?
Is it the schools or student?
I think it's page 23. I think it says 23. That one. So just so I understand, the percentages are the percentage of students compared to the total population of the school? That's what it's saying,
Yes.
like at Pacific?
Yeah,
where
this is all students.
I got that
in the
point.
high
But I'm
school.
saying, where it says 33%, it's saying 33% of the total population as students at Pacific High School are
That is-
enrolled in college credit courses?
You're specifically talking about Pacific? Yes. Yes.
And but we don't know how many courses they're taking, right?
It could vary because one student could take many
I got
courses.
that. So it doesn't show on this graph.
No.
The other question, I know that at Miller College High School, some of their students actually acquire an AA degree at the end of when they graduate from high school. Do any of the other schools have students that are getting close to acquiring an AA degree when they graduate from high school?
Pacific is starting to do that, and then also Arroyo Valley is on its way because they have an Elevate Academy, so that's focusing exactly like middle college. So they are doing that within that specific academy. Their focus is also to complete AA degree.
And that's the point I was getting at, because I know there's a system and a formula at middle college that encourages the level of college courses that enables them to graduate with the AA degree.
Right.
So I would like to see us implement a system like that at the other high schools for the students that want to pursue it. I would hate to think that we have students that want the opportunity but are limited because we don't have the system built at this specific high school.
We have started piloting. Last year we started piloting in Arroyo Valley, and they are really flourishing there. And Pacific has started. So we have 2 schools. We can definitely expand that into other schools as well.
And just so I have an idea of where we're at and how much we're progressing, if you guys could provide us with the total number of units, or on average, how many units of college credit units are these students getting? Because it's one thing to say you have, 393 students at a school that are acquiring college credits, but is that 3 credits or is that 40 credits? That's a big deal.
So we do, we can provide you the data, and also we have a SASH. If they get more than 40 credits, we provide during graduation, we give them a SASH. It can differ anywhere from 5 credits to some students have taken like 60 to 80 credits. So we can get you that data.
And then I know you had another slide where you talked about the different groups. On this one, it says early college credit, but it says concurrent and student initiated.
Which one?
On this slide right here.
Oh, okay.
So why would it be that a student that attends a college course on their own would have to pay?
That concurrent enrollment was the opportunity that our students had before this dual enrollment even came through. And then governor opened a 2030 vision of every high school student completing 12 college credits by 2030. So he started pushing more grants and everything. So because of that, now Valley College is pushing into our schools, using their professors to do dual enrollment, everything free. Before, the way we had to do it is students will enroll on their own. We don't use concurrent enrollment anymore because every single school student is getting opportunity through CCAP, non-CCAP, and articulated courses.
Oh, that's good to hear. So really, in the future, you won't have that line because
we won't have it. But we just wanted to put this in the presentation because there are 4 different options. That option still exists,
yeah.
But all our students they get absolutely free, no cost to the families.
You want to check to see if we're paying attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Medina.
When you ask a question, I look for data.
Yes. I know I'm really excited about these numbers, especially showing that we had a conversation when Ms. Contreras came down from the community college, and Rodriguez, I'm sorry. And it was the idea is having all of our students at least attend and try to complete one class, and just so that they can get that experience. And I think we're moving in that direction. I do appreciate the fact that you're doing that. And I do agree with Mr. Tillman, as we start moving forward, then we want to look at how many are they completing, and trying to really build this program to an exceptional program as well. But I know we're in the beginning phases, so I mean, I do appreciate the fact that we're moving that direction. While we're considering that, while we're moving in that direction for the dual enrollment, I do want to make sure that we don't lose sight of the advanced placement programs as well, the IB programs, and making sure that we're still strengthening those. Maybe not all of our students want to attend those, but those that do, we want to make sure that they are completing it and you know, seeing the diversity within those classes as well. But so far, I'm really excited and look forward to reading seeing the rest of the presentations. But thank you so much.
Mr. Santos?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I have a couple questions. So my first one is, are we making sure that all of those classes that they're taking are UC and CSU transferable? You know, sometimes you can take in community college, you can take empty calories. In other words, courses that are great maybe for an AA or maybe for a certificate, but are not necessarily UC and CSU transferable.
I think I can safely say that except probably one preparatory course or something, 99.99% of our courses that we offer are UC or CSU transferable.
And then are most of our classes in person, or do we have a lot of online?
All the CCAP courses that offer during the school day are in person.
Okay.
Do we have anything online? Few online, but teacher supports. There are few online, but there will be a teacher that supports that class. But predominantly, they are all in-person classes.
A school district person or a
high school professors come.
Oh,
I mean, college
professor
lecturer comes in.
Comes in. Okay.
That is why the success rate is very high in those CCAP courses.
Yeah, and I actually prefer the in-person professor than the online, especially for our high school students, because they need a lot of support. So an online, well, I understand the world is moving online. When you're doing a college course, a professor in the classroom, in my opinion, is better than a professor online.
And some of the schools are also venturing to have a support class for the dual enrollment courses. So the teachers help our students in order to become successful in those courses. Pacific is one that really hits it out of the park. They have, for every dual enrollment student, there is a support that is offered for them to be successful.
Okay. And then my next question, and I know for me, I always think transfer, not necessarily an AA degree. So remembering that to get to UC or CSU, you don't need an AA. You just need either IGETSI or Cal IGETSI as that comes around. But making sure that they have the courses that they're, and I think I asked you this question before, and I know the answer, but I just wanted for the board, that the students are taking courses that fall into the different sections of IGETSI. So the students can transfer, and they're not, again, taking too many sociology classes or too many classes in a certain subject.
So two ways the dual enrollment courses meet the A through G requirements. One is it could be any of those IGETSI course satisfaction, or let's say the student is in a CTE pathway and they want to continue to do that in a higher level at colleges. Some of this coursework that they are taking for dual enrollment could potentially satisfy the pre-entry requirement or the prerequisites that's needed for them to go into that that specialization. So all our courses that we offer are UCCSU. Some go towards IGETSI, and some go towards their CTE pathways, connected pathways.
Thank you.
Mrs. Alexander?
Just to clarify, so can a student be in the AP program as well as dual enrollment? And then there's lots of great options, which is refreshing, and I know this has been growing, so it's not something new. So thank you for coming back, giving us clarity around the programs. But how does a parent find out, or how does a scholar find out? Who tells them about this, and then how do they make their choices?
Again, it is during the orientation, and there is constant communication. There's very tight communication now between the district office to the principals, to the with the counselors, with the department that oversees the counselors, and also the different coordinators. So the two IB coordinators that are sitting there, we directly communicate with them. We don't even wait to go through the principals. If we see something, we directly talk to them. So that is why all our program specialists, each one of them are responsible for an area. So they help communicate with the school side. So we have a very tight communication, and then we are very rich on data. Our school is, because of the unified insights and everything that we have that we can pull data from whichever way we want. That has really helped us decide which direction we have to go in terms of supporting our students. And that is why you see it's a small growth, but there is also competing advanced programs that we are offering. So students have opportunities. It appears that student tends to go into dual enrollment because the success rate and the passing rate is also very high for these programs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'll just follow up with a couple of my own. Mr. Santos actually kind of hit on some of the questions that I had. I appreciate also the units comment, really taking a look at how many units are being completed. I think that that's data I would also want to see, in addition to what my concern was the same one. What classes are students taking, and what are they going toward? Is it going towards their advancement, their ability to kind of utilize those classes and then move on to a 4-year university? And I would like to see maybe also in a future presentation, or as you're collecting data, what classes are being taken, right? And then who's taking those classes. So meaning also broken down by not only demographics, right, but also by like school sites. I like the data on this better. It looks better. Everybody is increasing across the board. At different rates, of course, but I see across all of the schools, minus Indian Springs High School, that they're, on that upward trend. And so again, the question would be, what's going on at Indian Springs High School that's making them, decline when it comes to these courses? Because there's a difference in courses that they take. Right.
So Indian Springs and Pacific has been really, they were on an upswing, right? I think one of their CCAP courses fell through because it's also about the availability of the professors from San Bernardino Valley College, and then enrollment when the classes start. So I believe they had that issue. In fact, when I saw this data, I picked up the phone and called the principal. Hey, what is the reason? Because I wanted to understand why there was a drop. And he said that when they were actually, because it's about the same professors teaching different schools. And then if the professor is committed to one school and he is not available, then you kind of have to drop the course on one. So it wasn't necessarily that the principal was not following through or something, but sometimes when we work with colleges, things like this happen, and it immediately data is very sensitive on these things. It just like drops.
Got it. So that makes sense. But again, I just want to say thank you for sharing this. And like I said, I like this data on this particular, the college credits better than the AP was looking. So thank you. And who was up first? Mr. Tillman.
Yeah, I know Mr. Santos talked about but I think sometimes there are jobs that require an AA degree. So it's not a bad thing to get a AA degree. I've seen it where they require an AA degree. So that's something we want to make sure we keep an eye on. But also, I think you brought up a good point with the CTE part of it. I mean, I think it'd be great for a lot of our students in the nursing field to be able to get a CNA license or an LVN or a whole bunch of courses towards that. We have our own LVN program in the district. So if we could allow them to take some of those courses towards getting their LVN, so when they graduate and they go to our program, they don't have as many classes to take. That's a big deal. So and not just in the medical field, but even in technology. If there's courses they can take that will allow them to get certificates to help them qualify for real world jobs if they know that's what they want to do. Because think about it, even if they get those certificates and decide after graduation they want to go into college, it's not going to hurt to have the certificate. But for the students who don't go on, they can get a job making good money, right out the door, and don't have to spend as much money in getting those certificates. Because even to be a CNA and LVN, the cost is substantial. So if we're paying for it now, I think it's great that we say you can take these classes. I understand they won't all be transferable, but that's where a student is at. I think we should make sure we look at being able to accommodate that with being able to take these college courses.
You're absolutely right. Sorry, I forgot to mention some of the courses that we are doing and the students are taking not only lead to the IGETC requirement or their future degree, what they are trying to do, it also leads to certifications. So there's a lot of certification, and we have several health pathways, and there is not a single CTE pathway because of the framework that we created. Every CTE pathway should be connected to a dual enrollment course at the college level. So we are making sure of that, and all those are A through G approved. 100% of all our courses that we do are A through G approved. Because of that, it can either lead into satisfying the IGETC, or it can lead into their higher ed, course that they want to take, or it could lead into certifications. And our students have earned several certifications through the dual enrollment.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Santos.
Thank you. Just one quick question. For Cal Baptist, for the MOU of direct admit, what's the minimum GPA?
2.5.
2.5. Thank you.
That's why I have my team behind me.
Another quick question. So, on that note, I would be interested to know what is being accomplished. So I'm really excited to hear you actually say, we have pathways in the district, and then those pathways, we're encouraging to be connected into the university or community college to earn those certifications, because I completely agree with what Mr. Tillman is saying. And I welcome any class, any college class opposed to none, whether they're IGETC or not, right? Because it means exposure. But I would be interested and curious, what is actually being completed, if we could just kind of see that data. And then also, I know last time that, I can't remember if it was this presentation or a different presentation, where I had asked about, jobs, what's the outlook on certain things, and are we creating pathways that are going to be leading to, employment, right? Are they highly employable? Like medical, anything in medical is always highly employable. Technology is another one of those areas. So making sure that we are intentional on what is the demand locally, and just generally speaking too, and making sure that we're developing those to gain certifications at different levels, whether it's the full degree, right, or just an entry-level cert of some sort. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. So I know it is Dr. Coker's time. I'll just quickly over the GATE program. The picture that you see here are the several GATE identified strategies. Overall, their focus is to increase the depth and complexity. So when you're teaching the GATE students, so they have to differentiate in the middle school in order to explore big ideas, consider the context, analyze perspectives, and recognize patterns. These are some of the different stuff our students do if they are GATE identified students. The next. So as you can see, this is the GATE student numbers in different schools that are students that are in the middle school. Many elementary GATE students transition into magnet program when it comes to, as you can see in the Richardson, Rodriguez, and Chavez numbers. Meanwhile, schools like Curtis, Golden Valley, Del Vallejo, and Chandon show lower enrollment in terms of GATE students. Overall, the data highlights both success you know, the GATE students that are moving from, you know how the Rodriguez and Richardson are performing overall. So they do get into those schools, most of them. And then we need to make sure that we support students that are in the other schools with equitable access to these differentiated strategies. And in most of the schools, the GATE students are in mixed courses where teachers are and should be able to differentiate in instruction. So all the GATE teachers, if it is identified as a GATE class, they have to go through a training that is required for them to teach the GATE. And I know we work with the elementary GATE department to make sure that we are provided the training that is needed in order to use those differentiated strategies. So with that, if I have, go ahead.
So yes, I have a question with regards to the GATE certification that we're providing for middle school students. Currently, we have middle school educators that are taking this GATE certification right now.
Yeah, even high school teachers are taking,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Even high school teachers, sometimes they work with the higher level students. They want to take all those differentiated.
Okay. And then also with regards to, I guess what I'm trying to find out is the students that are attending the differentiated instruction classes, those, GATE students are attending those classes by those teachers. Are all of them certified or no? Or we're working towards getting the middle and high school students, teachers certified in those classes that have, as an example, Curtis, we have, 26. Is there a classroom or is there a teacher that's GATE certified there that would provide that instruction?
I wouldn't say that every single teacher is, because they have more, they might be having more other students. So that is something that we really need to shore up with other schools. But I know there's a lot of teachers that get that training in Rodriguez, Richardson, and Chavez.
Right. But we want to make sure that more middle school teachers are also getting those trainings. I remember reading a book back when I was really actively involved, that it is equally as inappropriate to having a GATE student in a classroom with a teacher, and the environment is not to their ability as equally as inappropriate of a student with special needs in a classroom that has no resources for them. So we want to make sure that if the GATE students is in the classroom with a teacher, that the teacher does have differentiation and understanding and GATE certification. So, and I know our district does provide that as well. Yeah, so maybe we can try to move into that direction.
Yes.
And I know that there's other, student class or students identified in other areas that teachers have to have a certain certification in order to teach certain students, right? So we want to kind of incorporate
Have the
that.
same.
Yes, as well.
Thank
as
you.
with-
We will
thank-
definitely do.
Thank you.
Mrs. Alexander?
Is it possible to get a list of the teachers that are GATE certified for the schools that you have listed here? So we
Yes.
have clarity around that. And then staying with the same subject, just connecting the dots, do we know the success rate of the students that are in the GATE program? Maybe if you can give us an example of the ones that have graduated out of middle school, are they in one of our placement programs, IB or AP, or qualifying for AP, or going into dual enrollment? I'm just curious to see what is that success rate and to see that we're making sure that we're tracking our students in that direction.
So I will get you that.
Thank you.
I can add a little bit to it too as well, because I know that when you're looking at, kind of like looking at the students where they're at, even in high school, if a student didn't receive appropriate instruction in the earlier years, even if they have high abilities, a lot of times they will not know how to study effectively by the time they get into high school. There's a lot more concerns, and I'd like to also see maybe the amount of students who are dropping out of high school. What is the percentage of those that are in that are identified as GATE? And I know that back in the day it was typically between 15 to 20% of high school dropouts were GATE identified students, and so in this piece, I know that elementary, we have a great program. How we're going to incorporate that within middle school and high school is going to be also important. So I appreciate that you're looking at all of these things.
We will look into it and we'll get back to you on that.
Mrs. Alexander?
Sorry, I just remember the last time you presented, we had asked for information about support systems. And that was when you were presenting on the fact that the AP program was expanding to Arroyo and I believe Cajon. And one of the areas we addressed was just making sure that the students are receiving those resources from tutoring, or how is that being elevated and how are they supported consistently to make sure they're successful. So kind of sticking with the lines of, not really concentrating on the drop rate, but how are we making sure they're going to be successful and continue to be successful.
Supporting students in these higher advanced courses as well. Okay.
I have a question for you. I think it's not specifically on these slides, but help me understand if a student's coming from like a middle school, like say Chavez, right? And they are in their GATE program there, and then they go on to high school, say Cajon or Royal Valley, or they would be placed, if they were in GATE at the middle school, they would be placed in honor classes or into one of those programs. And what is the difference between honors and like AP versus IB?
So there are several ways in which students are identified into the high school courses. So as we can see from the data, once the students are GATE identified, most of them, like a huge majority of them, end up in Richardson, Rodriguez, or Chavez. That's the pattern that we see with the program that we saw. And then there is a small portion of the students that are in the rest of the middle schools as well, which is what we want to shore up. But from there, once the students go, it is not an automatic admission from Chavez into Arroyo Valley, even though we are trying to work that loop. Elementary, Bob Holcomb versus Chavez, we all get together. But if they meet that certain criteria in Chavez, they automatically then move into Cajon High School. So that is how the feeding pattern works. And then when taking AP classes, they look at the CASP data, they look at their grades, and the counselors pretty much, and then the student interest, and pretty much they are suggested, oh, do you have AP offerings for these courses? Do you want to take that opportunity? So they can go in and take that opportunity. So it requires both from the student, counselor support, in order to make sure that they are identified for those AP classes. And the AP classes are advertised as well by the counselors. Hey, you have good CASP score, and you also have good grades in ELA. You want to take this ELA course. So that is how the AP classes are identified for the students as well.
Where does honors classes come into play?
Again, based on the student performance. Let's say the student has already taken accelerated math course in the middle school, then the students can go into a honors or accelerated integrated one. And then they also have weighted GPA for those honors courses. You asked about honors, you asked about AP, then what else?
Your IB.
So IB is guided by the board policy. They can get 10 students from each one of the different schools into their system. Once the Chavez students, they move into Cajon. With respect to Arroyo Valley, there are 10 students that can be taken from each one of the other geographical area. And that happens through the lottery basis.
So when you talk about like tiers, right? Would honors be before you get to AP?
Correct.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're stepping stone into like an AP or maybe not an IB if you weren't selected from middle school. It sounds like you have to be selected before. No, you could be selected.
Usually
while you're in high school.
it is something that the student sits with their counselors and they look at the grades together, look at how they have performed in the each one of the subject area, and then the counselor offers, okay, this is like, you have done very well. You want to proceed into the AP honors, or having those suggestions. That's how the students get into those programs.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, that, it kind of brings me a little bit of concern because, as Ms. Medina was saying, sometimes students are identified GAID and they're not provided the supports necessary. And unfortunately, I only have one child. That was my experience. So he was GAID identified in elementary school. He attended Richardson and then he was pushed out. So how are we ensuring that students that have the capacity or the skills, the ability, that actually are receiving those supports, to be able to kind of flourish, right, and continue on that path? So that continues to be a very, very big concern of mine, even, currently at Cajon, with students getting, D's and F's, how do we support my other child, right? He was getting support when he was at Chavez with D's and F's, and they were able to help him and move him up. So I was very pleased with say Chavez, but it doesn't seem like that's translating into Cajon. So, he's failed terribly last year with a whole bunch of F's and D's first and second semester, and he's now so behind. So I'm sure that's not the only student, right? So how are we ensuring that that we're capturing those students, that we're not letting them fail when they clearly have the potential to continue? And so, those are just two examples of then and, most current. That does continue to happen, right? And we want to make sure that how do we mitigate that?
I do acknowledge that kids sometimes fall through the crack, and there is not a systematized way in which we approach that this is the strategy for the GATE students, and this is because sometimes the focus becomes when there is a 80%, 90% that is not meeting the requirements, we kind of tend to focus, and always like, okay, good student, you're getting the A's and B's. That is something we need to really change, and making sure that, yes, students may be GATE identified, but they may still need a different kind of support. I would say, and I'll be the first one to acknowledge, it is not universal across every school site. It will differ, and that is one thing I can have a conversation with the principals and see that we have to be very careful about also the students that are already flourishing because they are GATE identified. How do we make sure that more support systems are put in place for that? I don't have an answer to that right now, but you're absolutely right.
No, and I appreciate your honesty, and I don't expect you to have all the answers. Thank you. Ms. Medina?
I'll be real quick because I know we have a whole bunch of slides as well that will continue the conversation. But I know that back when I was involved, one of the ideas was to have the principals, pull out the list of all those identified. And it was surprising for many of when we had it presented to like our GATE advisory council that we had on our school site, how surprised they were to see which students were identified, the ones that were causing trouble, and not getting the instructions they need in order to flourish. So that would be a great way for them to see, maybe getting those records out and asking them, pull out all your GATE identified students and see where they're at in your school site, both elementary, middle, and high school. That would be great. Thank you.
I'll definitely come back with a plan on how to address and support our GATE identified students at middle school and high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I pass it over to Dr. Coker.
All right. Good evening, Board President Ceballos, Superintendent Arellano, Board, Cabinet, and Community, and welcome, Dr. Doizan. I'm honored to have the opportunity to discuss how we're addressing our advanced learners at the elementary level. Before I go on, I do want to echo Dr. Tessen in the fact we truly, truly appreciate your support and Ms. Applegate, your leadership. But also I do want to acknowledge Dr. Rebecca Clark, who's sitting behind me, and Dr. Culbertson, who have really been instrumental in providing strong programs in the elementary school and are constantly advocating for our GATE students and advanced learners. And so I want to make sure I acknowledge them as well. So thank you for that. For tonight's presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide an update in terms of our magnet programs, including Accelerated Kindergarten, Vanguard, and GATE. I will also discuss the opportunities and the criteria for enrollment and placement, in all programs, including associated numbers, the teacher training and certification that you spoke about earlier. And then I'm going to give you some updates on current work that's going on, and then also future work in the elementary programs. All right, so in our elementary magnet programs, if you direct your attention to the bottom right-hand corner of the slide, we have listed all the magnet sites and the grade levels they serve. The 3 advanced learner programs housed at the magnet sites include Accelerated Kindergarten, as I mentioned before, Vanguard, which is grades 1 through 3, and then the GATE program, which we actually say begins in grades 4 and up to grade 6 in elementary. And so the access to these magnet programs provide the students the ability to go deeper into grade level content and standards, but also provide the opportunity to accelerate where need to be. But when students and families choose to attend these magnets, it creates a very nice pathway of instruction to ensure that they are getting what they need all the way from kindergarten on up to 6, and they can remain at that school. So in the next few slides, I'll go deeper into each program and the qualification criteria. So I'm going to direct you to this slide where we talk about the qualification criteria. And on the left, on that tan slide, what you're going to see is accelerated kindergarten. And what we use to test our students initially into accelerated kindergarten are local assessments that include letter naming, letter sounds, early reading and writing, as well as early numeracy. And so those students will be able to continue into Vanguard programs, grades 1 through 3. So the accelerated kindergarten funnels into Vanguard. Where I do want to direct your attention now is to the middle box, the orange box. What we have done is we have a universal screener that screens our students in magnet programs, but also non-magnet programs in grade 3, and we use the Naglieri nonverbal ability test, which is really a test of puzzles and patterns. And so at your request, board, what we did is we did explore the opportunity to do an opt-out method of that screener. So initially it was parent permission, but we've now explored the opt-out, and we are able to proceed with that. And so I'm excited to share that with you at your request and under the leadership of those around us. That's where we're going to head in this beginning in November. And so on the right box in the dark green, what you're going to see is we have another qualifier, and that is with high achievement. And so we use CASP data. So if a student scores exceeds in either language arts or mathematics, we do invite them to attend the GATE program as well. So just to kind of, I just want to mention that the orange box and the green box is when students may receive the GATE identifier in Aries, okay? All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the magnet enrollment by grade, and we're going to start on the left-hand side. You'll see accelerated kindergarten. Across our schools, we have 153 students in accelerated kindergarten. In first grade, 134 students, and that's in the Vanguard program. 150 students in grade 2 and 139 in grade 3. You'll see an uptick in grade 4 because what we've done is we've identified additional students to be invited into the Vanguard, or I'm sorry, to the GATE program after they take the Naglieri assessment. And so you'll also see an additional uptick in grade 5 because we're using the CASP as well as an identifier. You'll see a downward tick in grade 6, however, because many of our students, as you know, choose to attend a magnet program in middle school. We also have one magnet program, Salinas Elementary, that does not have grade 6. And so that's why you see the numbers go down just a little bit. On the bottom left, I want to point out where it says Vanguard 576 students, because I'm going to show you on the next slide what that number represents. So on this slide, in the yellow row, what you see is 576 students. So 576 students represent kindergarten through 3rd grade in our magnet programs. Above the yellow line, you'll see the distribution of students and student groups, as well as the associated numbers and percentages for each student group. Down below, you'll also see the programs that are represented. So we do have our English learners within the Vanguard program. We have students with disabilities, foster youth, and homeless as well. And so all of those students are represented in our program. I do want to point out that something that has been brought up earlier that really demonstrates the need to ensure that our students are supported no matter what school they attend. And these are our GATE identified students. So once they receive the GATE identification, either through CASP or through the Naglieri assessment, we actually have a total of 1,055 students in our elementary grades with that identification. And so of 9,133 in grades 4 through 6. So you'll notice that of the 1,055, we have 200, let's see, my eyes, 269 students that attend our magnet programs, but we have 788 students that actually attend other elementary schools. Okay, so we do have a need to ensure that our students are well taken care of and challenged across the school district because we do have students in both areas. Okay. So of the GATE students that I mentioned earlier, 1,055 is demonstrated on that yellow row. And above that yellow row, you'll see the distribution of demographics as well as the program participation for students within that are GATE identified. Next slide. So I do want to talk a little bit about the GATE certification program. Dr. Clark and Dr. Culbertson have just done an amazing job. In fact, I was able to attend last Saturday as they kicked off a new cohort of very enthusiastic and really concerned teachers to make sure that they are addressing the needs of their advanced learners. And so these are some of the guiding texts that are being used within those educators. The GATE certification program is a total of 5 Saturdays. The teachers come in on Saturdays. They do receive a stipend after they attend that, but then also there is take-home work. And by take-home work, what I mean is application into the classroom. And so that we ensure that what they learn in the professional development room really translates to the classroom. So these are some examples of the guiding texts that they use. Next slide. And so when they walk away, when the teachers walk away, here's what they receive and here's what would be visible in the classrooms. As Dr. Venkatesan mentioned, the icons of depth and complexity and using those alongside of our standards. Universal themes such as patterns or conflict, and those, everything gets really aligned to those particular universal themes so that students begin to see patterns everywhere. Thinking like a disciplinarian, what kind of behaviors does a scientist exhibit? What kinds of language does a scientist use? So that's an example of thinking like a discipline. And then scholarly attributes, I think that was mentioned earlier too, is how do scholars stay organized? How do scholars ask questions? How do scholars think about and ponder? All of those are areas that we would see transferred to the classroom. In addition to that, Dr. Clark and Dr. Culbertson have just put together just an amazing follow-up training to GATE certification, including making thinking visible. And so that is work that has taken place by a Harvard professor called Project Zero, if you're ever interested in taking a look at that. And really, what are some of those thinking routines that you would see take place in the classrooms, and how can we help support those thinking routines? Next slide. And so this is just a glimpse inside of our GATE classrooms and program models that we have. And so you see the pictures up above where our students are thinking like a scientist or thinking like an architect. We're very proud of our teachers for taking this work very seriously. And we are very proud of the programs that we see taking place at the site. We do have a need to continue to work on the GATE clusters, and those would be GATE clusters at at non-magnet schools to make sure that we help support those teachers and ultimately support the students involved in non-magnet schools as well. And so we'll be working with some of those site leaders to, again, go back to what you had said and identify the students and to ensure that the teacher of record has been GATE certified as well. Next slide. So our next steps and future work is to continue to expand the GATE cluster model, as we mentioned, to implement the opt-out testing model for GATE identification, continue to provide that GATE certification for teachers across the district. And we've worked with close to, gosh, I want to say it's almost like 1,000 teachers over the course of the time. It's so they keep on coming, and you know, Dr. Culbertson does such an amazing job training them that they want to come back again. We have some returnees. And we also want to continue to expand the magnet program further east to provide that option on the east side of town. And then finally, most importantly, we want to make sure that what we provide our students, because all students have a right to learn something every single day, is rich opportunities and experiences for advanced learners to ensure that they continue to grow as well. That concludes the elementary programs.
Ms. Medina?
First of all, thank you so much for the work that you're doing, of course, Dr. Clark, for the work that you're all doing, Dr. Culberson's as well, and providing all of the supports that we need in the GATE certification, and also bringing back, you know, where the opt-out version of it, which is great, because then we want to do, you know, testing of all students. You know, sometimes even teachers will be surprised, what, the student's the one that get identified through the test itself, and there are differences when it comes to high achieving students who, you know, grow up in environments that they're nourished and they're learning at higher pace, you know, versus students that maybe don't receive that. And so you want to provide those extra testing. But I'm really excited to see this, and, you know, always trying to see how we can always encourage more teachers that might be who might be interested in also getting the GATE certification. You don't have to necessarily teach GATE students. I know that it helps with all teachers in learning and differentiating in the classroom. So I do appreciate the fact that we're doing that and moving forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Santos?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a couple of comments. One, thank you, Dr. Coker. Wonderful presentation. I know a GATE certified person in my household. But I also wanted to make a comment also, and thank you to your team, to both of your teams. One of the biggest things that I kind of want to make a comment to is, you know, one of the pillars of Vision 3030 is high expectations. If we were a district in South Orange County, we would be arguing why our kids aren't getting into the Ivies, into Stanford, into Berkeley, into UCLA. That would be our conversation. And we need to remember that we want to raise those expectations. Our students will rise to those expectations. I know I want to believe that 100% of them will, but that isn't the reality. But we must raise our expectations. And I love the work that you're doing to raise those expectations, whether it's IB program, whether it's AP, college credit. Our college systems are under attack because the college education is a great equalizer, and it makes you think and it makes you see the world differently. So I believe that's important, right? I always like to point out that I took a psychology class and it taught me how to be a parent way before I was a parent, right? Learning that a child, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but can understand that crying will get them attention, right? And parenting, I remembered, okay, my child is fed, my child is dry as a baby, so at this point, I need to let them cry. But it was something that I learned in college, right? So again, I really think a college education is important. And if we raise our standards to sending them to a university and then they end up with an AA, that's wonderful. I always say if we have a student who wants to be a mechanic, then we have the responsibility as educators to say, how about a mechanical engineer? If you can take apart an engine and put it together, what about designing one? If you want to be a CNA, what about an RN or a doctor? In other words, our job as educators is to push that dream because they're going to dream what they see in front of them. And if they watch television, social media, CNA is always going to be there, right? But how about a nurse? How about a doctor? You can do it. If you can do those classes, you can grow it. And that's just my philosophy, and I think that's important, that we raise that bar for all of our students. And they do belong on a college campus, whether it's a UCLA, a USC, a Stanford, they do belong there. And I'm glad the work you're doing that we can get them there. Or CBU, I don't, whatever school is, UC Riverside, I know we have some UC Riverside or Cal State San Bernardino. My point is that they do belong in college. We have to make them believe, and whatever it is they think they want to do, it is our responsibility to make them see a little higher, a little bigger, dream a little bigger. Thank you very much for your work.
Mrs. Alexander?
Thank you. I agree. What they see, they'll be, and exposure is very important. I want to first say, Dr. Venkatesan and Dr. Coker, thank you, and thank you to your staff for all what you do and taking the time to come here and give us such a thorough presentation. We really appreciate it. I'm big about connecting the dots. I had a GATE student. I had to advocate for my student. How are parents really finding out about the GATE program?
So we have several ways. Number one, we have it in the options book. And so when parents enroll their students, it's listed in the options handbook. We also work with our, for accelerated kindergarten, we work with our PK teachers and our TK teachers. And so to ensure that they inform the parents about that. And then the third thing is we do that universal screener. And so that all students are screened now. They will be in third grade. And so if they qualify for the GATE programs, then we'll reach out to them to inform them of that.
But and I guess for parents that might not be as technically savvy or as aware, how are they? I mean, how would they find out? Are the teachers talking about it? I mean, how are they finding about the program? Because there might be some students that are missing out.
And then we do have the, we work with the TK and PK. But what I was going to mention too is that Dr. Clark and Dr. Culbertson do have a parent meeting, so that when the students are identified as, as GATE, or they receive that identification, they meet with the parents to discuss the options that they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that for every school, or how does that work?
They invite them to a parent meeting, so all students that would qualify.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Kind of. I think just the clarification is just making sure that we're informing parents, because some parents just don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
And that the outreach is beyond maybe what we're currently doing. So it's just something to consider, maybe through the parent groups. So through other vehicles to communicate what we're doing, because there might be students that are qualifying, but their parents don't know because they haven't received the information. Or, to be honest with you, and maybe it doesn't exist here in our district, but it could, that some teachers might not be as in-depth. They might not be as informed, so they're not empowering their students or their parents by equipping them with that knowledge. And I love the idea that we are training teachers, GATE teachers, but there are some opportunities there might be some gaps. So how are we addressing those gaps?
So we can definitely consider, working with Dr. Gonzalez and the parent groups to make sure that we do inform people at a wider level to, make sure that they understand and they're able to ask questions and receive kind of what you received today as far as what the program would entail. Definitely we can look into that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then just on the same lines, just connecting the dots, making sure that those students that have been identified as GATE students, that they're successful, and that once they go to middle school, how are we tracking them? How are we making sure that they're set up for success and that they're able to properly matriculate in that manner? It's a GATE, honors, just ensuring that they're going in that direction and we don't miss them, or we don't lose out, or they're discouraged too.
And our new program that we have, it's Unified Insights. That's one of our data housing systems. We are able to pull out data across the district for GATE students. And so I know that most recently I've been working with Dr. Culbertson to identify the areas that we may need to do specific training with our teachers as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Medina?
Oh yes, I just wanted to mention that many years ago, also there was where all parents received a letter. I'm sure it's still the same way. Once a student, because I didn't even know either, and then I received a letter. I was like, "What is this?" And then so they invited us to come to a parent meeting. It was here at the board meeting, and we had a whole bunch of parents, and they provide information. So typically, that's what has been done in the past, and so it seems like yes, that we're currently doing that now, and then that's when they're provided options for the parents. And so I continue to encourage that we do maybe multiple a year. I'm not sure how many do we do a year? Is it just the one or orientation throughout? And they've been really good with even with advanced placement tests. There was back then it would be where they would provide parents what does that mean and so forth. So it was a great training opportunity. I do want to highlight, and I know that we've kind of taken quite a time on the subject, is on also looking at the misdiagnosis of students who are who might be identified more towards special needs versus and I know typically Black and brown folks typically were over identified as special needs versus they might have just been gifted, and so maybe looking at that as well. I'm not sure how we would delve into that. That sometimes can become because of the behavioral and their underachievement, they really grow, so just monitoring that as well and making sure that we're looking at that. Thank you.
Mr. Santos?
I don't want to echo what Ms. Alexander said, because I'll use my example of a family member whose daughter was identified as gay and just threw the letter that way, and unfortunately did not understand the opportunity that was for her child, right? So what is it that we're doing to make sure those don't slip through our hands? Because again, if they're identified as gay, at least in my experience, now they may be bored in a class, and that boredom then shows up as a behavior rather than anything else. So definitely, what are we doing to get more that may just throw the letter away, not really understand what that is or what kind of outreach? I don't know. We're probably already doing it. I don't know. But just making sure that we are doing our best to get we're identifying the students, but getting the students into a program that would really help them in the long run.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you so much, not just for the whole presentation, but for number 2 on there, because I made a big stink last year, I think it was, where I was like, why aren't we testing them all? And then, instead of getting parents to opt in, those that don't want it, get them to opt out for the same reasons that have already been mentioned, right? We have parents that even when their child is identified, they may throw that letter out. And so thank you so much for hearing, my cries about it, because I believe that, this is not only going to shed some light on, some of those students that maybe were thinking, oh, this is a troublemaker. Well, they're actually gifted. But also maybe it'll shed some light, that we have a lot more gifted students across our campuses than we really even think, right? So then that will present as an opportunity for us to expand the GATE program to then, train more teachers across, because then the need is going to be there, right? We're going to have a reason to say, no, we do need more GATE teachers because we have all of these GATE identified students. So I just want to say, thank you so much. I know last year I was like, but no. So I'm very, very pleased to see that, just as I like to think that we're really responsive to the community, that you all are equally listening to the community, but also to us when we, share comments and make asks. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yay. Thank you all for your hard work.
All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to 9.0 action items. 9.1 personnel report.
As presented.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Can I get a second? Thank you. Moved by Dr. Wyatt, second by Mrs. Alexander. Vote, please.
Mr. Tillman?
Motion carries. 10.0 consent items. 10.1 approval of consent list.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any items to pull? Seeing none, vote please. Ms. Akinyemi?
Aye.
Mr. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. 11.0 reports and comments by union organizations. 11.1 San Bernardino Teachers Association.
No report.
11.2 California School Employees Association.
No report.
11.3 Communication Workers of America.
No report.
And 11.4 San Bernardino School Police Officers.
No report.
12.0 reports and comments. 12.1 board members. And I'm going to go ahead and start to my right. And I'll start with Ms. Alexander. Ms. Alexander.
Well, good evening, everybody. First, I wanted to say welcome to Dr. Doizan. Welcome home. Everybody's excited. I'm excited. Thank you for coming back to SBC USD and wishing you all the best of luck. Next, Police Chief to my right. Wanted to say thank you to you and your team for all the work that you guys do. There's a lot of unsung heroes that are on your staff, and we really appreciate just your hard work. Know that these past few weeks have been pretty colorful, so thank you for clarifying the rainbow. So appreciate you. And then our bus drivers. I've noticed that our bus drivers are out early and they're out late. And when I'm coming home from work, I still see bus drivers around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I don't know if we even do any type of appreciation, if there's like a month that we can recognize them, just like I did recommended the crossing guards. But it would be nice if we could appreciate our bus drivers and give them some acknowledgement. Just a few other items. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to attend a health expo that was put on by the Black Chamber. And Terrible Terry Washington received an award, and he's making us proud because he continues to be, a lightweight champion, but he continues to get more belts every time I see him. And this time he had his family out, and it was just really good just to see, one, the pride, but just what he's doing for us as a community. So just wanted to tell him congratulations again. And then I also would like to tell the Black Chamber thank you, because they did also give my husband and I an award for our foundation, Alexander Family Foundation, and that was for our turkey trot that is coming up on November 22nd. So I'm just putting a plug out there. And then as it relates to, I don't know if Scott, you're going to mention it, but CSBA is visiting. Our president's coming here for CSBA in October. and she'll be here on October 20th and would like to visit San Andreas High School. So as soon as I receive the formalized invitation, I will send it out to make sure that we can do that. And then wanted to just say thank you again to Anna Applegate and your staff for a great presentation. I have one request because I just found, I feel as if there's an opportunity related to how we communicate to our parents related to all the different programs. I just didn't feel as if we're connecting the dots as it relates to how to sign your, how your child would qualify, and for a GATE, for, and then the differences of the different programs of AP, IB, dual enrollment, and in addition to that, the support systems to make sure that the scholars are successful. And that success starts at home. So how are we helping the parents and equipping them with information? So if we can get a little bit more information and clarity around that, so we can ensure that those numbers continue to grow for all students, and then they grow not only in their isolated environment, meaning just primary education and secondary education, how are we making sure they're properly matriculating? And I speak from experience because my son was a GATE student, but he did not get the support systems, nor did he have the teachers that understood what he was capable of doing. So it's constantly in the classroom. So I just think that we need to make sure that we're arming not only the teachers, getting them prepared, but understanding how to make sure the parents are getting that support too.
Thank you. Ms. Medina?
Just want to also welcome Dr. Doizan, Tasha Doizan, for the work that she's going to be doing in our school district. I trust your experience, and I met you before when you were principal, and you were such warm-hearted and really wanted to do best for the students. And so I really am really excited that you're going to be joining us and doing the work that you're doing. And again, Ms. Applegate, the presentation was amazing. It different areas of where we're growing and improving on, and also the GATE certification and trying to see the GATE program as well. So I appreciate all the work that you're all doing, the whole team, Dr. Beck-Dessen, as well as Dr. Coker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman.
I'd like to welcome Ms. Doizan also. Look forward to working with you. And thank the superintendent, assistant SUS, all the administrators, teachers, classified employees for a good start. Heard a lot of good things about the start of the school year, so want to commend you all for doing a wonderful job at the beginning of the school year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grande.
I do have a request today, and I'm glad that Ms. Alexander mentioned it, because at Anderson, we did have Appreciation Day for our bus drivers, because they worked really close with us to getting our children on the bus, and often they were very instrumental in getting those children on the bus. It was them and one other person, and they just worked so hard. And what our teachers did is they picked a day, and usually it changed with principals. Not all principals allowed it, but we would make snack bags and a drink, and we had goodie bags. And as they came in the morning, we would give them all a bag, and they were so excited. We had other little things in there and little goodies, and it just made their whole week. It was great. So I don't know if we don't already have it, if we used to have one and then we went away from it. I think I'd like to explore that into having an appreciation day for all of our bus drivers, so we can all do something like that, even if they just make cards and letters and posters and things like that. So thank you. And also, I'm looking forward to the next month and two. I will be attending the CUBE, the NSBA CUBE, and that's going to be really exciting. That's the Conference of Urban Boards. So I hope to hear a lot of what we're already doing there and see what awards we should be getting for that. And then also the Haku will be the first Haku I've attended as a teacher or an educator. I did attend it many years ago when I was at Cal State as a student, and when Frank Reyes was at the top of his early game there with the Haku, and it was at that time, Haku was the only game in town. That was, I think, even bigger than anything we'd ever had as far as Latino and Hispanic. So stay tuned for all of that. The end.
Thank you, Dr. Wyatt.
Thank you, Madam President. And again, congratulations, Dr. Doyzian. You know, she's going to hear a lot of that from us, and welcome back as well. I know there's a lot of excitement from our staff and our community, and you know, for being our next leader of human resources. That's a huge task, and trust me when I say I understand that. So thank you for choosing us as well. I'm sure you have a lot of options, but you came back home, so welcome. Definitely welcome to our new school board members as well, Mr. Hurtado and Ms. Akiyaman. Did I get it right? Close. Okay, and again, great job on your comments as well, and for representing the student body here. That is so huge. We love having your voice, and it's the most important voice up here. Please know that, because we don't know what we don't know, and we definitely don't know what you guys like and how you like to learn, because most of us up here are pretty old. So we appreciate your voice here, and again, just welcome back to everybody back to school. I get to go to one back to school celebration at Bakuma Middle School, and just amazing event. And the student ambassadors there were incredible. I didn't get 5 feet into the door, and the students were like, "Hi, how are you? And where would you like to go?" And I'm like, "I don't know yet, but show me the way." So, but just really amazing kids there, amazing families. Got to meet a family that lived right around the corner, and they had 3 children at the school. And then I found out one of my colleagues, one of our teachers, her children at the school. So yeah, just super excited about the new year and what it entails for our students and our staff. As Mr. Santos said, high levels of excellence and expectation, and I know our students will rise to the occasion as well as our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Santos.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome Dr. Doyzan and our new student board members. Wanted to shout out, thank Miss Alexander for letting me fill in for the I think it's called Bebop, the State of the IE Entrepreneurship Address and Awards, and I'm learning to talk. I don't know if I always put my head down. I need to learn to speak up. But anyways, doing the flag salute, I don't think I've ever been that nervous in my life. I'm like, do I remember I pledged? So I got to do that, and it was a wonderful event. I hung out for a little bit over an hour because I was learning something new. So thank you for that opportunity. And the other thing I wanted to point out, I went to 3 back to school nights. I didn't get the VIP treatment. I'm gonna have to. Everybody. But I learned some great things. I love the vibes at Cajon High School and North Verdamont Elementary School, as well as at Cesar Chavez. And I learned that we're doing. See, it's because I'm trying to say Kagan, right? Kagan, which of course I had to ask my wife, what is it? Because everyone is sitting in groups of 4, which at the high school, you didn't see that last year. And shout out to Mr. Martinez, because he was explaining to us, he's a math teacher at Cajon, and you could tell he's also learning how to teach the students where it's more student-led than teacher-led. So learning those things going to back to school night, but not only from a parent lens, but also from the school board and getting to see the teachers explain everything, and it was pretty cool. So at the elementary level, they're sitting in those groups. At the middle school and at the high school, all the teachers had, mostly groups of 4, of course. Here and there a little different, but seeing that energy and understanding that there's new expectations and some new ways of teaching and learning based. So again, it was great heading out there. What I did know is that no one really knew me at Chavez Middle School, which is a positive because everyone was anyways. Yes, it was a little different. But I again, it was great events at all 3 of the schools, and the back to school nights were great, and our parent turnout is great. It can always be better, but it was pretty awesome, and the energy of our teachers was great. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and enjoy your kind of like incognito status while it lasts. Pretty soon you won't be able to go anywhere without them knowing who you are. So for me, I just want to say welcome again to Dr. Doyzan. Like I mentioned earlier, it was really important for me personally, not only as the board president, but just in general, to be here. And everybody that knows me knows I typically don't get here early ever because I can't. And even today I was like rushing because I thought I was going to be super late. And it turns out it didn't start till 5. Somebody tricked me. But I'm glad because probably I would have been, pushing 5 had they told me it started at 5. But anyway, it was really important for me to be here because, you're coming on board to a phenomenal team, cabinet, our board, and, like it's been mentioned, human resources is a very important department. And so we just want to make sure that you feel welcomed, that you feel, valued and, appreciated and loved. That's the type of culture and environment that we are, aiming to continue to, culture. So, thank you so much for coming back. And, like it was mentioned for you as well, choosing us. We're really excited and I look forward to all the great things that, the team is going to continue to do. I also want to say thank you to Mrs. Applegate, for your team's presentation. It was phenomenal. You can see the unity in them, the support that, they provide one another. They just look great together. And that speaks to directly your leadership. So I just want to, acknowledge that and commend that. Also, like I said, thank you so much for really hearing that particular aspect. It was really important to me last year, so it was really nice to have it have them come back a year later and saying, hey, we heard it, we want to implement it. Also, I don't think I ever got the opportunity to say thank you for the MTSS coordinators that have been in place at every single school site. That was one of my biggest things when I first came on the board, and it was implemented. And I have not mentioned this, but I have gotten feedback, all throughout the years that I've been here since we implemented that, how appreciated it is, how appreciated and valued that position has been to different school sites. So again, I don't think I had mentioned that before. So thank you so very much. Also, I saw recently a posting on social media, and it reminded me we're having a competition. Is it pickleball or what was it?
Yes, I think cornhole is this Saturday. There's cornhole, pickleball, dodgeball, and the other one, kickball. Yeah, the divisions are competing against each other. It's like a health, wellness kind of push. So, yeah, so I told Terry I'm going to be taking him on his division, so we'll see.
Saturday?
They're at different times, I think different dates. I think the cornhole one is this Saturday, but it's 4 different events. So, but we can forward the information in the update. Want that.
Sure, Karen receives it because I would definitely like to attend one of them and be part of one of the teams if they'll take me. Go show off my skills. And then the other request that I have is regarding that D's and F's. So I know that in the past that was something that came back to the board. I don't know how frequently, but I remember that when I first started, it was something that was brought. I want to bring it back and monitor it more closely. Like I said, very unfortunate. My, what do you call it, Miss Alexander, my bonus child. Yeah, he bombed it last year. And so I was, kind of disappointed. We were kind of disappointed a little in him, but also, at the school because, what did we do? I think it was a total of like 8 D's and F's through the school year. So for the first semester and for the second semester. And I do know that they, had reached out at different times, but, both my husband and I work, so we're really busy. I'm sure he's not the only student. And so again, what are we doing to ensure Chavez did a wonderful job at really reaching out and making sure that before the semester closed, that those students were able to bring those grades up. And so what is it that we're doing at not only Cajon, but also other high schools when it comes to those D's and F's before the report card closes, the semester closes. So I think that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, I'll pass it all over to Superintendent. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ms. Alexander.
And just really quick, I just wanted to say welcome to Board Member Akinyemi and Board Member Hartado. Welcome. You guys did a great job with your board comments too. So, yeah, welcome.
Thank you, President Ceballos. Yeah, let me begin too, welcoming our student board members. You guys both did an excellent job today with your presentations and providing the community updates that were relevant, well written out, and well stated. So thank you, and looking forward to working with the both of you for the remainder of the school year. Happy to have you here. And Dr. Doizan, once again, welcome back to the San Bernardino Unified School District. As you saw, a lot of excitement and a lot of a warm welcome. Very happy to have you back. So it was a pleasure to see your family once again, getting to know them and your children. So thank you for sharing them with us, but we're looking forward to great things moving forward. And I too want to thank Mrs. Applegate and everyone in your department, not only for the presentation today, but people notice the data. Data speaks for itself, and the district is making great progress in many areas. And I appreciate your leadership and the leadership of your directors. We've been very intentional, focused on the data. We've been honest about our reflection. We're happy when things are working, and we notate when things aren't working, and we say, what can we do better? So I appreciate that. And I also appreciate, and board, you don't get a chance to see this, but you're always invited to come to any of our monthly principal meetings so that you can see how laser focused those meetings are in terms of understanding data or some sort of staff development that our principals may need. I know Mr. Santos talked about the Kagan strategies. That's not just something teachers learn, the principals learn, so they know how to support and reinforce the teachers in the classroom. So thank you, Anna, for everything that you and your department. Ed Services is a very complex department in any school district. It's tenfold in a district this big. So to see so many moving parts moving well is a testament to the leadership that we have in that department. So thank you very much for that. And before I get to my presentations, I want to let the board know that the San Bernardino City Unified School District once again is a finalist for a Golden Bell Award. We have a visit coming up to validate our submission this year, which was the Seal of Biliteracy Pathway. As you know, we are probably one of the leading school districts in the state of California in terms of the number of high school graduates that earn the Seal of Biliteracy. We are by far the leading force in the county, but a lot of it has to do with the program that Mrs. Applegate has built and the people before her and her multilingual department, and our principals and our teachers are in the trenches every day, where our students start their Seal of Biliteracy experience at the elementary level, then reinforced at the middle school level, and then at completion at the high school. Unprecedented program. So we believe that that visitation will render an affirmative validation, and the school district will once again be earning a golden bell for an academic program. So we're very proud to share that. And then for the community's sake, I just want to take a time to thank the Sun-Telegram for writing a great story on this young man. His name is Randy Mendez. He is the quarterback for the San Bernardino High School Cardinal football team. And the story's not really about him being a quarterback. It really is about the grit, perseverance, the personal sacrifice that his family, single mom, is making so that this young man can participate and be engaged in school in a positive manner. So we're very proud of Randy that he had the courage to come out, try out. He was very concerned that he was not going to be able to help provide in the household for a single parent for his mom, and his mom said, no, you know, we want you to be engaged, and I know the school is supporting the family, but just wanted to thank the Sun-Telegram for writing a true, honest, and just a beautiful story about a kid's life in San Bernardino. Our kids have to jump over a lot of obstacles to experience school that many kids may not have to in other communities. So wonderful job to the Sun-Telegram for highlighting Mr. Mendez, and I do want to wish Mr. Mendez a great season, and want to thank his mom personally for the huge sacrifices she's making to allow Randy to play on that football team. Next slide. And I would be remiss if sir.
You know somebody from San Bernardino when they say Sun Telegram.
Thank you, sir. Homegrown, right? Homegrown. You know, somebody has said to me too, on that same vein, somebody said, we know you're from San Bernardino because you don't say San Bernardino. You say San Bernardino. It's all just kind of slides, right? The same thing. So I also want to commend Pacific High School and just congratulate the high school for getting their football team. As you know, last year we were unable to safely put together a varsity football team. Principal Natalie Ramundo took that very serious. We brought in a new football coach, Ernie Burris, who is a longtime employee from Cajon High School, special education teacher, and now is the head football coach at Pacific High School. They're off to a 2-0 start to the school year. You can see in that picture the energy, the cheerleaders. We have the stands are full of people. So in one short year, the principal, Coach Burris, the athletic director, the assistant coaches have done an amazing job of turning that program 180 degrees in one short year. So congratulations to Pirate football. They're back on the map. So congratulations to everybody at Pacific High School. Next slide. And I wanted to share a picture because I wanted to share with the board that the request was real. When Chancellor Rodriguez came at the last board meeting to talk about wanting to collaborate for two reasons: to continue to grow the dual enrollment opportunities and experiences for our students, but also to make sure that we are marketing and allowing kids to enter Valley College, that junior college is a viable option. I do agree with Mr. Santos and a lot of the sentiments that have been here today. We want to have high expectations. We want kids to dream big and be able to see themselves in circumstances where they didn't think they could be. But we also want to be consistent with opportunities, that if for a student that's not their choice, either economically, academically, or in the moment, that Valley College is a viable option. And so this was us, meaning the superintendents in the Inland Empire, meeting with Chancellor Rodriguez and the two presidents of Crafton and Valley College to continue that conversation of what is it that we need to do to continue to build that dual enrollment data to a higher level that we saw today, and then how can we get those students who don't want to go to four-year college or maybe didn't have what it takes, but we can get them into Valley College. So I wanted the board to know that that request and that relationship was authentic, and we are working on that very case. So I want to thank Chancellor Rodriguez for coming down here. We support her vision of every student at the very least taking dual enrollment classes starting in their sophomore year each semester at the very least, and then work our way up. So just wanted to share that. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Moving on to 13.0, summary of board members' requests. 13.1, review of requests.
Good evening. These are the requests from tonight's presentation. The first request was from Mrs. Alexander. She would like to know if there is a plan to expand IB to other schools. Ms. Abigail Rosales Medina would like to know how many are attending PYP at Holcomb Elementary School. Dr. Wyatt inquired what is the success rate of special ed students. President Ceballos inquired what courses are being completed that meet the demand of the industry. Mr. Tillman inquired or asked if we can implement the AA degree for students at other schools, if we can provide them with the total number of units of college credit. Mrs. Ceballos inquired what college classes are being taken by demographics and school and course. Mrs. Alexander inquired if we can get a list of GATE certified teachers by school and what is the success rate of GATE as they go to AP, IB, and DE, dual enrollment. Ms. Rosales Medina inquired the number of students who are dropping out of high school and how many are GATE identified students. Mrs. Alexander just wanted to emphasize once again how parents are finding out about the GATE programs. Would like to make sure that we are doing parent outreach to parent groups and utilizing other vehicles to inform parents. Would like us to connect the dots, specifically how students qualify, how we are equipping parents to ensure students are successful and properly matriculating. Mrs. Alexander and Vice President Grande would like us to recognize bus drivers. And the last request is from President Ceballos. She would like to bring back Ds and Fs and see how we are monitoring them. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. And 14.0 meeting adjournment. Second. Awesome. Moved by Mr. Tillman, second by Ms. Alexander. Second by Ms. Rosales Medina.